Hey crafty friends, today I have a fun challenge, creating 3 totally different cards using just one layout. And to make it even better, I'm featuring the brand new stamp set, Catch 'em All from CC Designs, which is a must-have for anybody that has any kind of Pokemon lover in their family or friends or anybody. The set has 4 adorable characters and 2 sentiments, and I can't wait to show you just how versatile this one stamp set can be. Let's jump into it right now. All right, before we get started, I wanted to show you a closer look at the stamp set again. So we're going to jump into our cards, and I'm starting with a classic A2 card size. I've trimmed all my cardstock down to 5.5 by 8.5, and we're going to keep the same layout for all 3 cards. This is my focal panel, and it's a 2-inch by 5.5-inch piece of cardstock. I've stamped our same little character that we're going to use on our card on it. This piece is a 3.25 by 3.25 piece of white cardstock. We're going to add a little ink blending to create a little sky and ground for our little girl to be standing in. So I've got that down. And we're just going to do simple ink blending right there at the bottom and the top, letting it blend together and fade out to the center to make it more of an atmospheric cloud kind of look. And now this is a little girl I'm going to stamp. Like I said, it was the same one we did on our little home panel or focal panel. And we're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment that says, gotta catch 'em all. So I've put my focal panel into my Misty, and I'm going to stamp that with VersaFine Onyx Black ink, because it's a nice ink to go, this nice crisp ink that goes along with the ink blending. So we'll go ahead and add our home panel onto our matte layer, and then we'll go ahead and attach this to our card base. We're just going to, right there in the center is perfectly fine. I've already stamped and colored my little girl with my Copic markers. Actually, yeah. This is actually, I colored her with Ohuhu markers. I'm sorry. But later on, we're going to be coloring with Copics. So I just popped her up on some foam tape, and I'm going to add a few white gel pen highlights to her to just make her pop out just a little bit more. I did fuzzy cut the image out, and there it is. There's our card. There's our first card. So moving on to card number 2, we're going to go with a monochromatic sketch style card. So I've got my home panel there at the background panel, and I've just attached that down. I've just took that gray cardstock, and I've stamped that image in some gray ink. I'm going to stamp that a little bit darker gray cardstock, and I'm stamping it down using gravel ink. And I'm going to add just a little bit of shadow underneath him. I chose to use the little Pikachu. And now we're going to come in with our gray Copic markers. These are the cool grays. I'm coming in with C9 and adding in my shadows to begin with. For the second card, I really wanted to switch things up a little bit and have that black-white sketch style like a hand-drawn comic book. So that's why I've decided to do it the way I'm doing it. And like I said, I stamped it out on that cool gray, that soft gray cardstock. And we're just using our simple Copic coloring. I'm coming in with C7 and C5 to blend those out. We are going to go all the way down to 0 marker on this. Anywhere, remember when you're coloring, anywhere that anything overlaps, that's where a shadow is going to be. So you're going to gradually, it's going to be your darkest area. You're going to pull out those colors to make them lighter. So we are pulling out with our C7 right now. And I actually did remember to go back and fix the tail and after off camera. I just forgot. So this is our C5. We're going to blend that C7 out. You could use warm grays if you wanted to. The cool grays just matched our cardstock a little bit better. And I do have all my supplies listed below in the video description if you want to pick anything up. We're going to go ahead and blend that out with our C3. And you can see the whole sketchbook sketch style start coming together with all these additions of these grays, because everything's going to be black and white, and you want that gray, those tonal colors in there so that everything's blended out. Now we're blending that out with C1. We are going to go back and do his skin as well, using our lightest 3 colors. So we'll just go ahead and continue blending that out. There's our 0, C0. So we're going to blend in that. Those are my lightest color, and the ink does fade back off that cardstock as it dries. Now I'm coming back in doing the hair. So I just came in with that C7 and C5 to do the hair. And then I'm going to do a little bit of shading over on that side. I kind of forgot to blend that out. So I wanted to have like a little bit of a shadow, like, because since he has that costume on, it's going to be a little inset, his face is. So we're just blending the rest of that out with our C1. And I kept everything super simple. And we're going to come in with our C0 and just blend the one out. And remember, this is where it gets super scary because all that ink is sitting on the top of the paper. But as that ink dries, it's going to pull back. Now is where the fun part comes in. We're going to come in and add some white gel pen highlights. And this is where everything's going to start really popping a little bit more than what it was. So we're going to kind of smush a little with our finger, blend that down a little bit. And I'm just adding in those highlights. And I don't know why I didn't think about this to begin with. I should have put this in the Misty to begin with because I knew I was going to come back and do this next step. And it got a little scary and a little hairy. But I've got everything colored up. I've got the highlights on there. But I needed it to pop a little bit more. And how you're going to do that? You're going to stamp it in black. This is where I should have went ahead and lined it up. But everything worked out fine. And you're going to see when I lift it up, look at the difference that we have right there. Having that black with the white and all the tonal gray, different grays, it just pops. So I stamped my sentiment going vertical, just a little bit something different. I went back and added the white back into his eyes to make those pop out a little bit more. And we're going to peel this off, and we're going to go ahead and add this to our shimmer white layer, which was 3.5 by 3.5. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. So I'm just lining that up nice and easy, and I'm going to go ahead and attach that to our card front. I'm going to pop it up on some 1mm, 1-inch thick foam tape to just give it just a little bit of a lift off of the card base. So we're just going to pop those foam tape strips behind there, and I'll peel those backings off. And we will go ahead and attach this down to our card front after we add a little bit of liquid glue right there to where we have a little bit more wiggle room because that tape grabs like the dickens. So we'll go ahead and pop that on. And there's our card. Now, moving on to our third card. We're going to shake things up a little bit. And we're going to go over the top. We're going to take our little Pokemon. I've already colored her. I'm adding in some gel pen highlights. We're going to make a shaker card. So I'm going to add my little strip of cardstock down on my card base. So I'm adding that down right in the middle. Same as we've done with our other two cards. And I've got a little panel of the white cardstock, and I'm coming in with just the ink that's residual on my brushes, and I'm adding in just a subtle background. I'm going to mat that onto a piece of black cardstock, and I have already cut my frame and added a piece of window sheet to it. I'm going to drop in some sequins just from my stash. I found these actually teal and green ones, so they were perfect to match my little character. So I'm just going to pop those into our shaker panel inside part, and I'm just going to make sure everything is nice and flat, and then we're going to peel back our foam adhesive strip backing liner paper. And this is how I like to do any kind of sticky thing like that. I like to peel back the edges, get it all lined up, and then before I even press it in place, I will pull out those little strips, and then I can press everything in place after I know everything is lined up. So I'll go ahead and press that down. I can shake it around, make sure. Now I'm going to go ahead and take and make sure that's going to be where I want it. I'm going to add my sentiment, and I chose to go back to that same olive green ink that I used in the first card and for our ink blending, and that's going to be the color of my sentiment for this card. So we're going to add our shaker element. I'm just going to add our little shaker window there with our little adhesive, and I make sure we're lined up. Shake it around, add some foam adhesive squares to our little character, and then we'll peel those off. I'm going to pop her right up onto our little shaker window, and there's our little shake. And here is a look at all three cards. And there you have it. One layout, one stamp set, and 3 absolutely adorable cards. If you like this video, you're probably going to like the one coming up right there, and I will see you over there in that video. Bye, guys. Stay crafty. Love you.